This episode of the podcast is brought to you by HRH Combat Arms. They can turn your vision into reality. They specialize in gunsmithing and Cerakoting. Your Cerakote specialist is Air Force veteran and retired police sergeant Paul Ware, a.k.a. the Sarge. He can Cerakote your firearms, auto parts, tools, even your sports equipment. And then your master gunsmith is Marine veteran Steve Miller. This veteran-owned business is located at 5025 Saunders Suite, 103, Fort Worth, Texas, 76119. You can call them at 682-304-0363, and you can find them online at www.hrhcombatarms.com. That's www.hrhcombatarms.com. All right, back at it again. Two Cops, One Donut. I am your host, Eric Levine, and we are throwing an impromptu podcast with the one and only Freddy G, a.k.a. my pops.
You?
The old man. What's up, old man?
Just recovered from vacation.
Yeah.
You should know.
Yep. We went to Florida together. Dad rented a beach house, which was, thank you, Pops.
Right on the beach.
Right on the beach. Private beach. Like,
nobody around.
It was like the worst of first world problems. I mean, yeah. And we had a good time. We went to Flagler. That's what it was.
Real close to Daytona.
Yep, Flagler. I kept messing that up, but I'd never heard of it.
No, Sarah found it on.
Yeah, my wife.
Website.
Apparently, that's where she went as a kid, quite a bit. So, for her, it was like real nostalgic. She was real happy to go back and have the kiddos do like live her through her old childhood memories, chasing the crabs at night and stuff on the beach and whatnot. So,
yeah, we had pretty good weather.
Yeah,
wasn't too hot. Sprinkled a little bit here and there, but
I just didn't care for the ocean. It's too rough. I'm used to that.
Yeah, it's
again. God, we're gonna sound like such uppity
old people.
No, uppity like assholes. I'm used to the Caribbean water when I go down to Antigua.
No, I was thinking I'm more used to cabin.
Oh, lake water and stuff. Yeah, for sure. Growing up
I'm
and whatnot.
Just not a big beach guy, but I know Kathy, my wife, is, and the kids love it, and it's just so easy for them.
Yeah. I just like snorkeling. Like, I found out that that's a thing that I love. And when we go take the kids, we did the Disney cruise thing. We did, the wife and I did what is that? Carnival cruise. Yeah. Like, when we first trying to figure out if we like cruises, it was like $500 total for the whole trip.
Yeah. I've been on a bunch of cruises, and Carnival is the lower end of them.
Yeah. Hey, you know me, I have a healthy fear of the water, so that was a good test.
If you like to party and eat and drink, then that's the one to go to. But
yeah, I don't.
I'm a snob. I don't like all those people.
No.
I don't like better food, and
I don't like being trapped.
I'm not a gambler, so if there are any shows or entertainment, they have to be good.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, when we went on the Carnival cruise, like I realized as long as I stayed somewhat inebriated, the water fear subsided.
That would be something to get over, to deal with. Now, I don't have an issue with the water like that. I don't like it too crowded, and I don't like some of the what I call redneckism that I saw on some of the Carnival cruises. Just nah.
Oh, let me see your glass. Let's do this episode the right way, sir.
Sorry.
Let's partake in this. Why don't you tell people what we found?
Okay, so
Citygate.
We went to that beach house in Flagler near Daytona Beach, but we took an excursion to St. Augustine and just kind of walked around. And I didn't know this, but it's supposed to be the oldest city in the nation.
Yeah.
And
Fountain of Youth was supposed to be there.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool little place. And we stumbled upon this free tour of a distillery called Citygate. and you just walk in there, show your ID, and they just pitch all their liquor. They had tequila, rum, whiskey. I don't know if they had anything else.
What moonshine? Remember
Moonshine, yeah.
They had white lightning and all that stuff.
So,
Salud.
cheers. I'm not a big fan of flavored or infused whiskey, but when they gave us samples of this peanut butter,
Dude,
it's like I'm tearing into it.
I can't believe it's whiskey. It's not safe.
It's
Are
like,
you born to barn? I gave you a perfectly good Baltimore.
oh, I didn't
Police
disrespect
department.
the patch. Okay, well, it is Baltimore, so
Yeah. You clean it up a little bit. Just kidding, Baltimore.
yeah. Props to Baltimore if you're still on that department and working hard.
Trying to make a difference.
Bigger man than me.
Yeah, I ain't trying to go out there.
No.
We had a few of those guys come speak at our academy that had left, like either through retirement or found other jobs, and
I bet you that was interesting.
it was. One of them was a public information officer for Baltimore. He was like a captain at one point for them. Yeah.
Public information officer.
Yeah, he was like over there.
You know, I'm
stuff.
torn on that position. I honestly think, you know, they say if you're an officer, you can relate to the job and you know more about it.
Yeah.
But I get pissed because, motherfucker, get out there and do the job. Don't get in front of the camera. And they're like, oh, don't hate. And then I'm like, well, I want to hate because you're out there being Hollywood. And not all of them.
Yeah.
But some of them are just too into it and uppity and
Their motivation's wrong.
right.
Yeah.
You have to represent the department well. You got to be able to speak. You can't get up there and go, sound like a dumbass.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time dealing with a position that's you've been trained for to be an officer, and you're out there in front of a camera just talking.
Yeah.
I know it's important, but it's just hard to wrap around. I know some departments have civilians that do it, and they're really good at it.
Yeah.
Of course, there's there's no experience because street experience for being an officer, but there's some pros and cons to it.
Yeah. I don't mind the PIO position if I feel like it's done genuinely. But most of the time when I see PIOs or anything, and obviously I'm not talking about my own department, but when I see them in general, it's fake. It's propaganda. It's not unless they're just reading a briefing. Like these are the facts.
I would assume, and you know, I have a little inside on some of this stuff because of the positions I've held. But I would think that they're stuck in a rock and a hard place. They have to be politically correct at all times.
Yeah.
So, and most cops aren't.
Yeah.
So I can see how it could come across fake.
Mm-hmm.
And especially today, I mean, you got to be careful what you say.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, totally.
Yeah. I know.
Even the ones that say, you know, one of our officers was shot today and that won't be tolerated. We will hunt them down. You can't say hunt them down.
Yeah.
Come on.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
If they give themselves up peacefully, they're going to be taken in peacefully. If they decide they're going down with a fight, well, they're going down with a fight.
Yep.
Where's that sheriff in Florida? That dude's a badass.
You sure he's a sheriff?
Hey, maybe he's not a sheriff. I thought something like that.
There was
there's a dude that's always on.
Maricopa. Was he a big old white guy?
He's a white dude, yeah.
And
wears glasses, kind of nerdy looking.
And he had
I don't know if he's
chain
big.
gangs, prisoners in pink suits.
No, that's Arizona or New Mexico. Yeah, not that guy.
So the guy in Florida you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's the guy that said, and I'm paraphrasing, but at one time, the media is like, why did your officer shoot, 37 times? And he said, because they ran out of bullets.
Yeah, okay, I remember that one.
Yeah, that guy. He goes, if they would have had 40 bullets, they would have kept shooting or something like that. And, you know, he says, if you, I think he said almost what I just said, you know, if you give up peacefully and that's what we prefer, then that's how we'll take you.
Yeah.
He's like, but if
you're trying to kill us, we're going to try to kill you.
If you try to shoot at my officers, he's like, they're going to shoot back.
Yeah.
I was like, that's right. And people get so hung up on what it sounds like instead of what they mean. Like,
yeah, and
going to meet deadly force with deadly force. At the end of the day, it's what they mean.
Right. You know, if you are going to fight an officer, they're going to fight you back.
Yeah.
And
we're going to one up you.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. Like,
you
folks, if you're out there listening and you're like, well, all that guy had was a knife. Look, you bring a knife to the fight, I'm shooting you. I'm having a gun. Well, I'm not going to say I'm going to shoot you. If you give up with the knife, if I pull my gun, then that's what I want. You present
a knife, I'm presenting the pistol.
That's what I'm getting to. So
or in some officers' cases, they just go, they're registered. Bring it.
That's never happened. I've never seen anything like that.
Oh, I've messed around with a bunch of people and talked shit, and they, you know, I'm lying my ass off, but they're like, what? Really?
Yeah.
It's part of the fun.
Yeah. People are out of control with that stuff. So what are we going to talk about today?
I want to talk about the frustrations of patrol cops.
Okay.
And give an insight on the people who don't really know what patrol officers go through as far as frustration on the job. And there's a lot of frustration on the job, but I'm talking about the calls, the ridiculous calls that frustrate you. We talked about this the other day, and you said, well, I just turn all that into humor, and you get entertainment out of it.
Yeah.
And most of the time we do, but sometimes you get caught in the wrong place, the wrong time, like, dude, I don't have time for this crap.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody gets worn out with it.
And I thought it would be interesting for people. I mean, they all hear these war stories that are cool, you know, save the day or something they did awesome.
Yeah.
But the ridiculous and the frustrating and the what we call, that's not a police function call.
Yeah.
I think those are interesting.
Uh-huh.
And I have a ton of them.
I bet you do. 30 years.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you talking, so I'm trying to understand you better. Are you talking like calls that police shouldn't really be handling it in the first place, but they are?
We're here because of either a policy or a procedure that somebody wrote up, or the civilian, the citizen called and lied about something to get us there.
Yeah.
Or someone just took something and thought it was serious and it wasn't. I can kind of get by on that one. I'm not real get real upset about that one. But there are times when people call the police on other people and it's like, we don't need you here.
Yeah.
It's just something, a perception of somebody saw something, thought they needed the police to look into it.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, there's just a ton of them that.
So I'll give you an example of what we just had. Not yesterday, because I didn't work yesterday, the day before. So Thursday. We are leaving the restaurant. We had just went and ate lunch after serving a search warrant. So
cops get to eat?
Yeah. So, you know, it was, we had been on the clock since about 6 a.m. And, you know, I got there about 5 that morning to get some prep work done. And then I think we ate lunch about 2. So about 2 in the afternoon. So that's a long stint when you haven't eaten anything.
Right.
And you don't have anything with you. So we go eat. On the way back, I had got out of the restaurant and another officer got out of the restaurant fairly quickly and headed back to the sector. Meanwhile, the 2 officers that were coming with us, they got caught up at the restaurant just chit-chatting with some other people, and they lagged behind a little bit. All of a sudden, a call comes out at the property room. It's an MHMR person. For those that don't know what that is, it's a mental health issue. So they were there to get their property, but their property wasn't there. It wasn't located at this facility. Now, something that should have been as simple as, this is where your stuff is, this is how and where you get it, turned into this person was refusing to leave.
A cluster, huh?
And ended up being about a 4-hour call for that officer, those two officers, because
what
they figured out with this person that if they didn't go along with what they wanted, it was going to turn into them playing the system. And what I mean by playing the system is, your seasoned vets of this stuff, they'll say, well, I'm going to kill myself because I can't get my stuff. And they know those words, I'm going to kill myself. Now we have to mental app them and take them to the hospital.
Yeah, they knew the system.
Yeah, they know the system. Well, she had just gotten out of the hospital. They'd just been released. That's why her stuff was at the property room. It wasn't because she was arrested for anything. It was because she made the cops take her to the hospital. And now you got this vicious loop that you're eating up two officers, and these are specialized units, so they've got really bigger fish to fry, and they're hung up for 4 hours dealing with something that really isn't in the police realm anyway. Mental health, yes, if you're having a mental health crisis.
It's one of those areas where, screw it, call the cops, let them deal with it, because it's the catch-all.
Yeah.
And I get it. The reason why I guess those who are in charge feel that way, but we're not going to handle it any better than your average citizen who has the same, capabilities as decision making,
and
critical thinking.
So
I don't know.
I don't think I was around long enough, or I don't think I was born yet when they had insane asylums or whatever they called them back in the day.
I don't know when that was considered. I don't know if it was a constitutional right.
Was it?
Or a violation of constitutional rights. But I'm going to guess in the early 70s maybe.
Okay.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Because I'm just wondering, I'm not saying bring insane asylums back, obviously. There's obviously issues from that. But there's got to be some sort of intermediate, because the hospitals can't handle you just bringing every single person with mental issues in a major city anyway. There's just too many. I mean, they'll kick them right back out. You bring them up there, and you will deal with that same person that night.
Well, there used to be a show on back in the 70s called Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Every Sunday night, I think.
Yeah.
Right, either before or after Walt
I wasn't even born in the 70s. I know Mutual of Omaha.
So they had something that took care of everything. It was a tranquilizer gun. I'm like,
yeah. Is that how they used to handle it back in the day?
If there were, or like Spock, just hit the little
yeah. Vulcan death grip.
So great.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. I get it. Well, they work the system. They know how to get out of stuff, or even if they don't want to go, they know they're just taking up officers' time just to piss them off or whatever their motivation is. I can see how that's frustrating.
Yeah. Just like in prisons when they fight, they won't come out of their cell.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna say this. What I intentionally or initially was thinking about was more of the comical or less serious one.
Oh, you mean like your goat call and stuff like we kind of chatted about before? Yeah. Okay.
Like one time, I was towards the end of my career and I was bored. So I was taking calls, and, we're either going to back up, supervisors are either going to back up a hot call or take the BS calls so the officers don't have to.
Right. Now explain what your position was, because you weren't just a supervisor. You were the supervisor's supervisor.
Yeah, I was a lieutenant, and usually it's a desk job, but, you try not to stay behind the desk every day, but you don't want to, and this is all different philosophies. You have to be aware enough of who to assist or help out and who not to, and try to be there but not be there.
Yeah.
And it's really an awkward position for some officers, especially rookies or ones that are, I don't want to say they're introverts, but they're loners.
Yeah.
And they'll take assists, but they don't really want to.
Yeah.
And they definitely don't want to take it from a supervisor.
Right, because now they feel a little pressure.
Right.
Like a call that they would handle one way, now they feel like they
we got to follow
have
policy
to.
procedure.
Yeah.
Little do they know that I am the biggest shortcut taker there is, and
Okay.
I bend the rules quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I'll cover my ass, but it's just what it is.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I took a disturbance call, and that's not a minor call, but I took it to get it off the grid or off the screen, and it's a 2-person call.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I will go and take it. Then some officer will take it off my hands, and then there'll be 2 of us there, and we'll have that call handled. And it won't sit there and wait, and response time won't look stupid.
Okay.
So it was a disturbance call. I get there, and I take the initial contact because the other officer is like a block away, and we do what we do. We assess the situation. There's just not an issue here as far as safety concerns, which is really the wrong way to think about it, but it's what we do. Yeah. And so I knocked on the door and started chatting with them, and the other officer showed up, and it turned out this was the call. I talked to the wife. It was domestic. I talked to the wife. I said, "How can we help you? What's up?" Well, we were talking, and it's tax-free day. And I think every state has tax-free day. I think.
What?
Yeah.
Texas has a tax-free day?
For school supplies, clothes. It's near the beginning of school.
Oh.
Yeah, and you can buy certain things.
I didn't know that.
Tax-free. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So Mama was asking Daddy for some money to go buy school clothes. Daddy didn't want to give her any. So they were arguing about that.
Okay.
I go, okay. And I said, that's it? Yeah. He won't give me any money. I want money to go buy school clothes. He won't give me any. I said, okay, I'll be right back. So I go talk to him, and he goes, I ain't giving that bitch any money. She wasting all the money. They don't need any of this. It's just a disagreement on whether or not to buy school clothes or not.
Yeah.
And so I look at the other officer and I go, you got to be kidding me. That look,
Yeah.
Why the fuck are we here?
Yeah.
So let me get this, and I summarized to both of them. Let me get this straight. You wanted money to go school clothes shopping because it's tax-free day. Yes. And you didn't want to give her any money because either you don't have it or you just disagreed. She goes, yeah. So that's just an argument you're having over if you should buy school clothes or not. Yes. I said, that's it. Yes. I said, okay. So I told the officer, I'll be right back. So I went on the radio and I asked the dispatcher to go to the private talk channel.
Mm-hmm.
I said, why?
Which, of course, everybody switches over to.
I said, why are we here on this call? Well, they were arguing over money. There was an argument. I don't think the call taker even knew what the argument was over. They just Mama goes, I want this motherfucker out of here. Blah, blah, blah. That shit. And I go, so there's nothing here. I said, why are we dispatched? Per policy. I said, what do you mean per policy? Fill me in. And the key word is, if they are arguing, we get dispatched. I said, you're kidding me. So they could be arguing over what they want to eat or where they want to go eat. Mm-hmm. If they're arguing, then we get dispatched. Yes.
Yeah. So my long-time solution for that is, and this is for major departments, because you have plenty enough people that are on light duty. If you have a light duty officer as a call taker who knows the right questions to ask, most of the stuff could be squashed right there on the phone.
I can agree with that, but it could bite them. If the policy is they say they're arguing, and to the way I took it from the dispatcher or the supervisor,
Mm-hmm.
if the word arguing is said, then you will dispatch. So if that or light duty officer, there's got to be a way they can get around that. Are you sure you're arguing, or you're just having a disagreement? They may have to play with the words. I don't know.
I gotcha.
So,
but you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to go that far.
Well, yeah.
If I can problem solve, if I'm on scene, that's not going to make a difference in the words that I use.
Right.
So if I can talk to the person on the phone and I can de-escalate and start to rationalize through the emotion on the phone, because I'm a seasoned officer and I can't work in the field because I'm hurt, but I can do it over the phone, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's the best of both worlds. So I know it's not 100, it's not foolproof, but it's a start, because I can't tell you how frustrated I've gotten with some call takers before. I'm like, these are common sense questions you need to screen these people with, and you're not doing it.
Well, yeah.
But it's not common sense to them because...
Or they're just lazy, or they weren't trained.
Yeah. And it could be all of the above. And I can't understand that because I don't do that job either. So for me to sit there and criticize them is, it's me having the luxury of criticizing without knowing what they do.
I don't know when they did it. They start putting police supervisors up there to help clean that up.
Yeah. Robin Krause is currently taking over where I'm employed.
When's he going to retire? He's been there longer than I have.
I think he just stays to piss people off.
True.
I just think that's what he does. I love him there, man. I like Robin. He's a good dude.
Yeah, we go way back. He's cool.
Yeah, I've always liked him. I just
We have the same birthday, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Like same age or just same birthday?
I think he's a year
younger?
Older than me.
Older than you? Okay.
I think.
I can't.
I got a bad memory, but.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But another example of a stupid, frustrating call is when parents call the police because their kids aren't behaving.
And they threaten them that we're going to come and take them to jail.
Right. And when I first got here, back in the late 80s, I got to be careful because I don't want to piss off any viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Will take it the wrong way. But we called them illegal aliens back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They're here from Mexico mostly because of the border. And they're out here working their ass off. And their kids, either they were young and brought over here, or they were born here. And they quickly know the system. And they realize their parents don't know what is and isn't acceptable as far as punishment.
Oh, just cultural differences.
Right.
And the laws being different.
In Mexico, not that I have any personal experience, but I was told kids got a line, they got their ass beat.
Mm-hmm.
They just disciplined them.
That's how it was when I grew up.
Here, the kids are telling, mom and dad, you can't touch me. You can't touch me at all. If you do, you go to jail.
Oh, man.
And they're like,
threatening.
And they're thinking, well, they know more because they're in school and they speak English. The parents don't speak English, so they're like, and they use their kids as translators a lot.
Yeah.
Well, they used to. I don't know if it's as.
Oh, no, they still do.
I mean, a lot. I mean,
yeah.
Back in the day, it was like you knock on the door and a Hispanic family opened the door and,
a 6-year-old comes to the door and they're your translator.
The kids would come to the door automatically and just start translating.
Yeah.
And then you just go with it.
It still happens.
So, yeah, they would. And that's a smart kid. you can't touch me. 'Cause you'll go to jail for abuse.
Right.
That's what happens here
Dang.
in America.
Yeah.
And so the parents get frustrated, and so they'll call the police and say, I need help.
Yeah.
What do you need help for? He or she won't do whatever.
I never thought of that perspective.
And we're like, what?
Yeah.
And, well, you can discipline your kid. Well, what do you mean? I said, well, and you describe what you can and cannot do.
Yeah.
And then
Short of serious bodily injury,
yeah, and you offer,
go to town.
we will stand right here and watch you, make sure you do it right.
Yeah.
And then the look on the kid's face,
You've betrayed
I say,
me.
translate that, bitch. And they wouldn't.
Of course not.
So you would have to call your buddy, hey, come over here and tell them in Spanish
Yeah.
that you can whoop their ass.
Yep.
And they would come, and then the Hispanic officers that you used a lot would show up, and they would know what's up. And then they enjoyed it.
Oh, I bet.
Because, they're like, you're opening the eyes to the parents who think well, first of all, they may be here illegally, and they don't want to stir the pot or, get on the radar. And two, they believe they're kids.
Yeah.
Like, if I discipline them the wrong way, then I'm going to jail.
They've gotten more of an education and the benefits of being over here. One of the saddest things I learned moving here versus being up in Michigan is you'll have these large Hispanic communities, and there'll be some asshole criminal, whether he's Hispanic or some other white, black, doesn't matter, but they know that the Hispanic community won't call the cops.
Oh yeah, they take advantage of them.
Yeah, they take advantage of them. They will plague them with robbing them, stealing from them, all that, and they know that they won't call the cops.
It's a form of extortion, basically.
Yeah, because the Hispanic community is afraid that we're going to be like ICE and deport them and stuff like that, and you have to learn to explain to them, like, listen, that's not our job. It's not our function. That's not why we're here. We're here to help you. If you need help, we'll come help you. You got to tell us. You got to let us know.
Yeah.
And I think that's gotten better over the years, though.
Or minor, this is a pet peeve of mine, minor fender benders where both cars are drivable, and say you got a cracked headlight or a small dent in your car, people still today think, I can't move my car.
Oh.
Because insurance or whatever.
Yeah.
I got to prove it wasn't my fault.
Yep.
Yeah. And
listen, folks, if you get in a fender bender on the freeway, pull off at the nearest exit. Do not sit in the middle of the lane. Or if there's a wide shoulder even, get out of the roadway, please. If your car is drivable, get it out of the roadway. That drives me insane. It's even worse when it's like in a mall area.
Yeah.
It's like, you got hit. Your car's definitely...
intersection to the mall.
Yeah, still drivable, and you're going to sit there, and you're like, no, I got to get 18 different angles of the front of the car and show that you did this.
Yeah, they need to make more public service announcements that you get hit, get off the road.
Yeah.
What I feel they should do is show, I don't know, cameras or not body cams, but pole cams or just cameras that catch shit.
Like flock and all that.
Yeah, catch shit on video where someone has had a fender bender and they left their car there, and the next thing you know, it gets smashed by an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
And explain, hey, just pull over off the road or next exit. Just get away from there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I've told Sarah, my wife, I've told her, I'm like, if you start getting a flat tire and you're on the freeway, drive to the next exit. Get off the freeway. I don't care if you're riding on the rim. I really don't, because it's a million times safer just getting off the freeway with a flat.
Let me tell you a story about a flat tire on the highway.
Okay.
So it was 1992-ish.
So you're like your second year?
No, fourth or fifth year.
What year did you get on?
88.
Damn.
Yeah.
What year was you shooting?
90.
Okay, that's how I get confused because I know it was like your second year.
Yeah. So we had just gotten these new Impalas, and they called them the Whale because they were.
Oh, those had the Corvette engines, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we're hauling ass down the highway, and a back tire popped. Boom. Blew. And I'm like, holy shit. Well, I was doing about 100, and you really couldn't tell the car had a flat tire because the centrifugal force kept the tire, I guess, not inflated, but it expanded. Right? You follow me? Yeah. And the minute I slowed down, well, the tire gets wobbly, and next thing you know, you're like all like this.
Yeah.
So I learned a lesson about driving with a flat tire.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to slow down eventually, but get to a safe place where you can slow down and you won't get in anybody's way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I've seen too many bad accidents that involve a broken down vehicle on the freeway.
I was driving today, and I saw this guy pulled over in a truck and a trailer, and he had a bunch of lumber on there. I guess the lumber shifted, so he's on top of the trailer, ratcheting stuff back down.
Trying to secure it.
Right. Around a blind spot curve.
Yeah.
And here comes a semi.
Ugh.
Not quite a semi, but a pretty big truck that probably carries, like a flatbed, cars and stuff.
Yeah.
A big truck.
Yeah.
And he almost took his ass out.
All it takes is for them to glance down at the navigation.
You could tell this truck driver was experienced enough because he was able to slow down, and he stopped because there's traffic behind him. He knew that if he didn't stop where he was at, then eventually this guy was going to get hit. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure he gave him some choice words or helped him. But I didn't stick around long enough.
Yep. Officers, they do the same shit. They set up a flare line. They do all this stuff. And I'm like, you need to set that flare line back another 600 to a quarter mile back because you're in a bad spot.
Well, let's face it, cops aren't rocket scientists, so
it's one of those things that I didn't learn it on my own. I was shown it. Like, hey, I would go back farther. Here's why. Oh, thanks. Shelton, you remember Shelton?
Oh,
West Side? Tom.
Yeah.
Best dude I ever worked with when it come to traffic accidents on the freeway.
Yeah.
He schooled me up so quick on that stuff, and I felt I still don't I don't want to go on the freeway, period, if I don't have to. But he helped me.
I want to say I wasn't afraid of the freeway until I went to Fornash's class.
Oh, yeah.
I went to
Beyond the Cones or whatever it was.
I don't know what it's called, but it's
the anti-pursuit class, basically.
I took it as how to work accidents on the freeway. Mm-hmm. I really don't remember the course. All I remember was he was telling us, get that shit off the road if you have to push it with your buddy bumpers. Mm-hmm. And it was video after video after video of dash cam of people getting
just swiped.
Yeah. And drunks hitting cops and, that
Dwayne Frito.
Yeah.
Who we ride for, yeah.
And to the point where I said, screw it. I ain't working shit on the freeway unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah.
And it made me aware that, hey, you have two officers out there working a freeway accident. That ain't enough.
No.
And because of what could happen. And then you get on the radio and say, hey, send me two more or send two more over there. And they're like, you piss off the dispatcher, like, what do you need that for?
Yeah.
And then you piss off the officers you send because I don't want to go out there.
Yeah.
But
my favorite, Get me FD.
Well, yeah, FD's usually out there.
Yeah. That's my go-to right away. How far off is FD? Because if you folks don't know, like, you get a fire engine back there, they could take a lot of damage because they're filled with water. So they work like a water barrier and protect the officers and the victims of the car accident or whatever it is that you're working.
Well, let's get back to the irritation topic.
Yeah. My bad. So what
Phone
else
call. Oh my God. Sergeants, I feel for them. Officers get complained on. Call taker, dispatch call up. Hey, got a complaint. You need to call such and such. And so the sergeant calls the complainant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually someone who didn't approve of the service they got for the call they wanted. And most of the time it's, they were rude. Well, how were they rude? And then they would go and explain.
They called me ma'am.
What happened. And it comes down to, well, you just didn't like the way they took your report?
Yeah.
They act like they didn't care. So how'd they do that? Well, it just like, they were like a robot, And so you were offended because
you're turning the logic on them.
Yeah.
You're making them step back and look at it objectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, ma'am or sir, they do this every day, all day for X amount of years. They have to get the information as quickly as possible to try to remedy what your issue is.
So they can help the next person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be, I got a perfect example of that one. Hey, I called the police. Ain't no one showed up here yet. Oh, what'd you call the police for? Well, some guy was walking down the street and he stopped one of my employees and asked him if he wanted to buy some tools. I said, okay. And then my employee said, those are our tools from our shop that were stolen the other day. So I want my tools. And we followed him to a house.
Oh, shit.
Right? I said, okay, so you know where the house is. Right. He's got my stuff. And we got a surveillance going on. And he ain't left yet. He's still in there.
Okay.
All right.
Good on you.
Okay. But no one's available. And he goes, well, I know the chief. And he started rattling names off.
Oh, he's name dropping.
Chiefs and city council people. And I said, okay, I get it. But there is nobody available. They're still on calls.
Yeah.
And he goes, I go, what do you want me to do? Pull someone off another call for service from another citizen just for you? And he goes, yes. And I go, I'm not going to do that.
Fair enough.
And he goes, well, what are you doing?
What were you doing, Fred?
I was sitting my ass behind the desk, right? And I'm like, damn it, got me. And so one of my go-to guys just happened to walk in. I said, I'll tell you what, I will pull an officer off another citizen's call just for you. All right?
Okay.
So, and it just happened to be my go-to guy.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Matt. Can I say his last name?
Yeah.
Matt Anderson.
Matt Anderson.
He's in homicide, or he was. One of the smartest.
Probably met him. I just got your memory.
One of the smartest guys in the department. Funny, just perfect. You know, he's the shit. You know, he makes your job easier. You know, he's a go-to guy. He knows the general orders. He just knows policy and procedure. He's your go-to guy.
Yeah.
So I said, Matt, help me out. Take care of this shit. I told him what's up. So he went out there, talked to the guy. He goes, all right, let's do a knock and talk.
Explain what a knock and talk is.
Well, you knock on the door and just ask, hey, this is what's going on. Can we get a consent to search your house? And they gave us consent. So we searched the house, and there were stolen shit everywhere.
We wouldn't be in business, folks, if they were smart.
Stolen shit everywhere. Some high dollar, I don't know what it's called, but the lawnmowers that cut the golf greens, they're like 10.
Oh, like the ride. Yeah.
Well, they're the special ones because they cut
so low.
They cut the greens.
Yeah.
Not just the fairways, but the greens.
The greens,
It's a fancy, super high dollar piece of equipment. There are like 3 of them in there. They took from the golf course down the road.
Yeah.
So we're in there for like 5-6 hours, right? Just.
And that officer that your go-to is probably like, this motherfucker.
Well, you know what?
It's my last day before my weekend, and you got me stuck.
Even if he thought that, he would never say it.
Yeah.
That's the type of person he is. Anyways.
So you took advantage of that officer.
Anyways, so I said, did you find any of these tools, A, B, C, or D, from this business? He goes, nope.
Oh.
And so
he found all this stolen stuff.
I had the pleasure of calling this guy back. Hey, dude.
Oh, you thanked him.
Good tip. Man,
I knew it.
all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is the biggest bust we had in a long time. That's great. Unfortunately,
your shit
ain't here.
Fucking perfect. Oh, man.
Karma is a bitch.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, that sucks you couldn't get that guy's stuff, but that is funny. Oh, that would be good. That's a good lick, finding all that stuff, too. Oh, man. Yeah. We had, so that search warrant I was telling you that we were on, we were helping Narc. So it wasn't even our stuff. I work property crimes, so anybody listens to the show.
Well, Narc is, they're better than property crime.
Yeah. When it comes to hierarchy, I just want everybody to know, like, you've got Intel and ZT and SWAT. Those are like your 3 high dollar units.
Intel's not it's high dollar.
Yeah. I mean, just as far as money and resources go and stuff like that. Yeah. So these are your 3 high dollar guys.
I thought you were talking about prestigious.
No. Prestige is going to be SWAT, and then ZT, ZT is like
homicide.
Yeah. Well, that's different. That's investigative. I'm talking TAC team type stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
So then you've got Narc, which has their own intel side, and gang. So I always put Narc and gang right next to each other, and then Vice, and then property crimes at the bottom.
Let me tell you something that most officers know, but civilians don't know. The most corrupt, as far as mentally, I'm not talking about they break the laws or violate anybody's rights, but just mentally screwed up and
in a dark humor type of way.
Dark humor.
Yeah.
Just fucked up in the head are your Vice and Narc officers. I mean, their humor's fucked up, especially Vice. Oh my God.
Jenny Bell. Called her out.
I love her.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But yeah, why did I even bring that up?
We were talking about hierarchy.
Yeah. So
prestige.
Yeah. Well, there is something to it that you shouldn't be in a specialized unit like Narc or Vice too long.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that. Even though...
Like term limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though some people get really good at it, but... how do I put this? I think it stifles you as far as being growth. Now,
okay.
we had 2 Narc officers that were so good. I'm sure there was more, but these 2 that come off the top of my head that were so good.
I'm going to guess Russell and White.
As before their time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Blaisdell and Perez.
I know the name Blaisdell for some reason.
Well, Daddy worked here,
oh.
And I guess was chief of Weatherford for a while.
And there's nothing that screws you up worse than working the same place as your dad.
Amen. Well, you know how... Well, let's just use current example.
Okay.
You got pretty good at catching cat thieves, right?
Yeah.
Catalytic converter thieves. Right?
Yeah.
Well, Blaisdell and Perez were good at catching dope dealers.
Yep.
I mean, they had the informants, they had the knowledge, they knew how to work it. They just, some shit comes easy for some people. And they were our go-to guys,
Mm-hmm.
and they kept us busy. And when you have that amount of experience and greatness, I guess, or awesomeness,
Mm-hmm.
hard to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And if they don't promote, they live there forever. And so it gets to a point where sometimes you have to just push them out for their own good. I'll drop the dime on Robert Rangel,
Okay.
TCU chief, right? He was one of those amazing narc officers, was a narc officer, and just knew how to do it. It was big deal after big deal after big deal. Kilos, right? Just come and go. And he was Hispanic, and he got into the upper echelon of the drug dealers, the cartels and stuff, to the point where he got the attention from the feds, and they wanted him. They wanted his connections and his informants, and he just knew how to do the job. But he was a workaholic, in my opinion. I don't think he would deny it, but he loved it.
Yeah.
It was his passion. And if I could go back in time and be his supervisor, I would say, let's back you off a little bit. And because it affects your family life,
Personal life.
your personal life. Yeah.
But the argument could be made, it's going to be harder to get as deep in as he did without that type of dedication.
Right.
And I would also argue that who are you to dictate the path I choose to take?
Well, true. I can't argue that.
Yeah.
But I just think that certain units, like crimes against children,
Yeah.
there are some people that worked it a long time, and there are some people that can't handle a year of it.
Yeah.
And so you gotta have to, it's case by case. But
Mm-hmm.
I would think, and I know we're getting off topic here, but I would think there should be, checks and balances for those types of jobs. SWAT, high pressure, high stress.
Yeah.
Narcotics, high pressure, high stress. Vice, same thing.
Property crimes.
Oh yeah.
I still stand by. I have the hidden gem of jobs.
Well, yeah, I think you do. If you love what you're doing, under the radar, having fun catching bad guys.
Yeah. You catch everybody. And officers know what I'm talking about. So citizens, if you're listening to this, property crimes, when that's your focus, you're catching thieves and burglars. Well, you're people that turn homicide suspects, you're people that are arsons, you're people that get in ag assaults. They all stem from these property crimes.
Yep.
And so you build cases on these people, and later on you'll get a be on the lookout, or some tips or something, and you're hearing the description, and you're like, that's my guy that's been stealing rims off cars. That's his MO. He does that stuff. And now you find out he's wanted for homicide, or he's wanted for some serious violent crime or robbery. They escalate. Yeah. And it's neat because you're a part of that, and you end up catching those guys later on. Something random. Like we caught a homicide suspect on a traffic stop watching a pawn shop. We watched a pawn shop. We watched these people bring something that was, you're criminally profiling. You see them in this terrible car, and they pull out this nice fancy piece of equipment. They bring it in, And then 5 minutes later, they're coming back out.
I got you.
And they have the equipment with them. That means the pawn shop just turned them away.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no, that shit's hot. We ain't buying that. And so now they're trying to go find another place to sell it. So you follow them. You watch them go to another pawn shop. They get denied. So now you got it twice. And you're like, we're pulling this car over. So you look for your violation, pull them over. And sure as shit, there's a homicide suspect in the car with these guys. Then we found that piece of equipment was stolen. And now you got 2 people. The car was occupied 3 times. So you get 2 of them and you end up finding out they stole the stuff. And then now you got that guy for the homicide.
You know,
It's crazy.
well, of course, the good training officers teach the rookies, go run your plates at the pawn shop.
Mm-hmm.
Go run your plates at the car wash.
Hotels.
Go run your plates at the hotels. And I think that's
becoming a lost art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Well, let me tell you a narc frustration.
Okay, before we get into the narc frustration, take a drink of your peanut butter drink. By the way, we're killing this. We need to slow down. We have to switch over to TX because I can't get this again.
Oh, yeah.
We can't find this.
Can you mail order that shit?
I don't know. I want to. It's my favorite whiskey now. But explain your narc experience real quick, because
Okay.
and with your narc experience, explain how you tried to get back there and you kept getting blacklisted.
So I made sergeant, I don't know, 90-ish, whatever, 99.
Really?
Yeah.
Old fuck.
Yeah. So I was a sergeant for 6 months, and they snatched me and one of my buddies who made sergeant recently, about the same time, and 3 sergeants, and moved us to narcotics. And I'm like, okay, you got to go where you're assigned, right? And it was kind of a cool thing because I'm a brand new sergeant, and they're putting me in a specialized unit.
So you did patrol for 6 months?
6 months
as a sergeant?
Yeah, I was just getting comfortable where I was. And I was making a killing in overtime in patrol because we were running informants, and we had a guy who was plain clothes, and we would do narc warrants, and like once or twice a week after work. So it was all overtime.
Oh yeah,
we were just killing it. I think I made just in overtime like $40,000 extra.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that a high 5 year?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
So overtime, step raise, promotion raise. They still give step raises? I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
So many years you get extra money.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my per hour rate went from X amount to $10 more an hour.
Nice.
Or more. And so anyways, I was making a lot of money. And they said, nope, you're going to narcotics. I'm like, oh, okay. And all my co-sergeants were like pissed because they've been sergeants for longer than me. And they're like, how did you go? I don't know. I didn't have any connections.
Had you worked narc as an officer?
No.
So you didn't even have any experience? They just pulled you over there?
Just pulled me over there.
And there was you hadn't talked to anybody?
No. I think what happened was there was a shakeup or something happened in narcotics, maybe some rumors of, I don't know, pilfering or books weren't done right and money wasn't accounted right.
Okay.
Just stuff like that. And so instead of digging into us, screw it, it's just clean house. I think they cleaned house.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that's for sure, but that's an assumption. I don't want to make anybody look bad as if they were there before me, but
yeah.
Or it could have been just time to go. So I went over there as a rookie sergeant, and I was given, what unit did I get first? The detective spot. Talk about a sucky job. I was the detective, or the sergeant of the detectives.
Yeah.
And there ain't an easier case to file than a narc case. It's the easiest case to file, period.
Then.
Yeah, then literally they would take a sheet, slap it on the report, and send it up. And it was accepted.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the narc officers did everything. They tested the dope. They got the PC, got the witnesses' information, everything. You know, all the detective had to do mostly was...
You're talking the narcotic detective.
Right.
Okay. You're not talking like general assignment.
No, narcotic detective was the easiest job. Was the easiest job.
Okay. I just want
ever.
people to understand this detective is specifically for a narcotics unit.
The narc officer usually did everything needed
To file the
to
case.
file a case. And all the detective had to do at that time was say, the elements exist for this offense.
I agree with the officer's assessment.
And then just send it up.
Yeah.
And the DA would take it. And then
Yeah.
piece of cake.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So, but all I did was sit behind a desk. How do you supervise someone who does something that simple? I know some narc detectives will probably get pissed about saying it's so simple, but in general, back in the day, it was that easy.
Yeah.
And I got lucky enough to where somebody wanted to trade with me, and I took a team. And I want to say I took Special Approach Unit, which was basically buying crack off the streets. Best job ever.
Yeah.
So I had a team of 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they would get undercover. And we all had, unmarked, undercover cars.
Undercover cars, yeah.
And they would go, and they all wired up. One guy or girl would go out there and try to buy dope, score, give the bingo was the term. Okay, I got a bingo here.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would say it's a such and such individual dressed in this way, he's head this way. Just give the description of where he's going. And then out of nowhere would show up 4 or 5 unmarked cars, basically trucks, and just jump out and snatch the guy up. And they would run sometimes, and it would be, just a blast.
Yeah.
And then what made it even more interesting was the way, Sully,
Mm-hmm.
Big Dave.
Yeah.
He would dress up. He'd wear, you remember the movie Fridays?
Yeah, Friday.
Big Worm?
Yeah. He wear
dope dealer?
Yeah, he wear a perm.
He would wear the what do you call that? The hairnet.
Oh, okay, the hairnet.
Not
yeah.
the net, but the plastic thing over the head, like he had.
Like a shower cap, like type thing.
And then just play the part.
That's awesome.
And he was never had any issue.
My God.
The only thing that kind of he had going against him was he was such a big, beefy guy.
Think Debo. If you don't, for anybody, I know not everybody's gonna know Sully, but just picture Debo. That's the only person I can compare him to.
Yeah, and most
just a big dude,
big muscled up bodybuilder, football type players. They don't go scoring crack.
Who's a black belt in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so he would score easily. So he was selling it when his body type didn't fit it.
Yeah.
So he would do that, and we have fun with that.
That's
and then
funny.
We would put the white boys in there, and they would struggle, but they would learn.
Uh-huh.
And they just.
So, what was the community's thought on what y'all were doing at the time? Did you have good community support? Was there involvement?
Oh yeah, and where I was going with all this was, you would get narc complaints. There's street dealing going here. Right? Or this is a dope house. And most of the dope houses in the neighborhood weren't real dope houses. They were just smoke houses.
Okay.
Where people would
just go to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they would be pocket dealers that would shack up in a place. And so, but a lot of complaints would come in on that. And back in the day, what they called ComStat was, you have to be accountable for the crime in your area. And so when
Who has to break that down?
So
because it's important.
When I worked, it was like the captain of a division would be responsible for the crime trends in their area. And in most large cities, there's going to be a dope area where there's constant dope dealing going on. And the captain would say, well, my patrol people can only do so much. They answer calls. They can't address all this dope activity.
Yeah, specialized stuff.
So they get the Narc unit to come out there and deal with it. Well, as you go up the chain in rank, the captain had the division, but then the deputy chief would have that part of the city. What are you doing, deputy chief, about this crime in your section of the city? Well, I instructed the captain to do this, or the captain has requested the assistance of narcotics to address this dope house, or whatever the complaint is. It could be a gang or whatever. So you would utilize specialized units to address the issue. Well, dope was such an issue back in the day. It dominated the
complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so to where we had to create a unit that just did dope complaints.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was a majority of the unit, of the Narc unit, was 2 complaint teams, where they would basically go to a house and say, hey, we got a dope complaint here. Can we search your house? Get consent. And they would clear it. And they would look at it and go, oh, this is clearly not a dope house. And they would clear it. Or they would find dope and they'd make some arrest. Minor.
Yeah.
Crack rock here or there. But they could clear complaints. And if you clear complaints, that made
the captain look good.
The upper echelon look good. The city councilman look good. This is all the complaints we got. This is all the complaints we cleared.
Okay.
So here's the frustration part, the topic we were talking about. Okay, Narc division, Narc unit, Narc team. We have a dope house over here on such and such street. We need to deal with it. You go out there and deal with it, and you knock on the door. You either get a consent or you send a CI up there to make a buy. You run a warrant on it, and you get maybe, I don't know, $200 of cash and a couple of rock. It's just not a dope house.
Yeah.
But it was a complaint, and you cleared it. Okay? It was addressed. So now the city councilman can go back to whoever bitch and said, this is what I did about your complaint. I look good.
Yeah.
But you can go right next door to that same house or down the street that wasn't a complaint, get multiple kilos of dope, and the chain didn't really care. Well, I mean, they did, but that wasn't the priority. The priority was what was causing the complaints, the squeaky wheel.
Okay.
All right. So, hey, you cleared a complaint. You did good.
Rather than going after the root.
Rather than, oh, you got 2 kilos next door, but that wasn't a complaint. Nobody knew about it. So it's not a thorn in our side.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Huh.
Deal with that. And we would, in Blaisdell and Perez would have so much business going on that we would bring in multiple, amount of dope and money and seize property. We were just killing it.
Really?
It was almost...
I've never heard of a narc complaint team. That doesn't exist.
I don't know if you still have it.
They may. I just, because of COVID and all that stuff, I know the narc units had been down for a while.
Back in the day, narc complaints came in so much that they had to create something to deal with it.
Well, obviously, whatever y'all did prior to me getting here worked, because I have not heard of those type of complaints.
Well, I'm sure they're still there. You just, I don't know. I guess
not to that volume.
Dude, I'm telling you, we had this lieutenant who was a hard ass, but he loved working narcs. and Blaisdell and Perez and a couple other people were his golden boys. And we had deal after deal after deal after deal. For example, they made a deal and we arrested this guy for dealing dope. I want to say it was cocaine. I'm pretty sure it was cocaine. And he had a little Western shop over at Northside. And we went to there and did a search warrant. And his little shop, we took every fucking thing there. Everything. Because we can say it was possibly bought with dope money.
Yeah.
And then he was going to roll on people. And we had to put him up in a hotel somewhere and hide him.
Oh, yeah. Confidential, or protective custody type thing. Yeah.
We had to hide him. And we did all this shit without really any, I don't want to say permission. We just did it. Well, he just did it.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is what we have to do. And if you don't agree, you're stupid. And then, of course, the upper echelon goes, okay.
Yeah. I found that, it's funny you mentioned that. So in the catalytic converter thing, when I started getting real deep into that, I started getting informants and stuff like that. And some were from people we had arrested.
Yeah.
And they were wanting to roll, but they were worried about like cartel pushback and stuff like that. And here I am, still a rookie detective, for what I consider. I've only been a detective 2 years, so I'm looking at that and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I just start asking questions, talk to a sergeant. Sergeant, I've never done that. I don't know. So I'm like, all right, well, let me see who I can talk to. So I start talking to people that that I knew had experience with stuff like that. And like, oh, you got to contact this person. Well, I'm contacting, this person, and I'm telling them what I got. And they're like, yep, we can get them on paper. We can sign them up for this. We can do that. They're not. They don't work for my department. They're on the judicial side of things, And so here I am, like you said, making these decisions to get an informant, get them on paper, do all this stuff, get them in some sort of protective custody, getting them out of the jail and all that stuff. And nobody's guiding me. I'm just figuring out as I go.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's at least, I'm sure still today, but back in the day when I worked it, there's a handful of people that knew what was up and how to do it. And the rest of the chain would go, okay, whatever you think is right.
Yeah.
Or best.
Because they don't know.
No.
Yeah. Secret time. I found that a lot in police work. You got the few, the go-getters that they want to do stuff and they figure out how to do it. Not everybody knows all of it, but somebody knows a piece of it. And those are the ones you go to. Like Mig Means. He's a guy that I go to and lean on for anything I can't figure out. He's usually he's my go-to because he's a go-getter and he goes after whatever the hell he's trying to figure out.
Well, let me tell you my Narc experience. I found out that you had a small percentage of officers that actually knew how to work dope well. And they did it well. But you need a support team to help them do what they're doing.
Yes.
Okay? So most people think, well, I have a narc team. They all know how to buy dope. They all know how to go undercover. They all know how to work informants. But yet they don't. They can't. They're not good at it. Or they're reluctant or they're afraid.
Yeah.
It's not easy to buy dope. You're vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to play a role.
Yeah.
I remember we had this one female that was put in our unit and nobody wanted her there.
Why? Because she's female?
No. They just didn't like her. And
was it Carolyn Gilmore?
No.
She was on recently. Her episode just released.
No, unfortunately, I left before she got there. But she was the type that didn't have a great reputation.
Okay.
And not anything that she did. Well, let me put it back. Some people don't get a fair shake, and they're considered an idiot or a coward or heavy-handed, a brute.
Yeah.
A knuckle dragger. So she went balls to the walls and everything, but she was kind of, I don't want to scatterbrained, but just not quite the officer type.
Yeah.
Anyways, she was sent to our unit, but she wanted to work her ass off. She's put on my team.
So she had the drive. She wanted to learn.
Right.
Okay.
And so I put her, she was in my special approach team, and we trained her up, and we sent her out there to buy dope, and we all thought she was going to fail, and she fucking killed it.
Really?
Yeah. Killed it. Because she knew how to talk shit. And
Nice.
you could tell the officers. Okay. Perfect example. America's Got Talent, right?
Yeah.
What was the name of that lady who wanted to sing opera?
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
And they're all like, whatever. And she was old and she looked like shit.
Yeah.
And she killed it.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, what?
Yeah.
That's what she did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She just... One thing I'll say that I learned from you in police work, as a supervisor or whatever it is find out your officers' strong suits and what their drive is and support that no matter what.
Yeah.
Because that dude or that female that is a problem because they can't perform in this function, there's something they're good at. And if you figure out what it is that they're good at and you support that, then they shine.
I have the perfect example. I was a new sergeant, signed up, we had a sign up. I picked a part of town, days off. And I got Officer A. And she had tenure, she had experience, she had seniority. So she picked my team with weekends off. And all my co-sergeants and others said, oh.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. I'm like, what? I don't know her. Oh, complaints. Trouble. Okay. Put it back in my head. And I noticed she was a loner. And she wasn't your typical police officer look. She was short and dumpy. And you're like, you're a cop?
Yeah.
And all the other officers avoided her. And I'm like, okay, let me see what's up with this. So I was just being myself to her, and I talked to her, got to know her, started eating lunch with her, and we became friends. And I realized that she had a good rapport with citizens and took the time, and it got to the point where if I had a complaint, I'd say, hey, get off that call and go talk to these people.
Oh, nice.
And complaints would go away.
Yeah.
And she would follow up, and she was perfect. But she had a reputation, and nobody wanted her, and nobody would give her a chance.
Yeah.
Okay? So I was over a division, and she wanted to be an MPO where she would shine at, but there wasn't a spot. So back in the day, we had the autonomy to where, like, fuck it. I'm taking a patrol spot, and I'm going to add it to the MPOs, which I did. I said, all right, this is your baby. We're having trouble in the apartments. You are the apartment MPO for the entire division.
Okay.
And she took it, and she killed it.
Nice.
Yeah. And she shined, right?
Yeah.
And people got to know okay, well, if the LT is buddying up with her, maybe they're give her a chance. Or, well, I better be nice to her because the LT and her are tight.
Yeah.
It didn't matter because it got people to
Proof is in the pudding.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And perception and rumors. And she killed it.
Yeah.
She killed it.
Mm-hmm.
So impressed with what she did.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest things that I'm glad I learned it early from you because it's paid off. I mean, I'm not a supervisor by any means, but I run a team.
It's not so much a supervisor, it's just being a decent person with, okay, it's a leadership trait.
It is.
What are you going to do? Okay, you got someone who's being shunned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's answering calls by themselves because nobody will get off the radio to help them. So you got to do something.
Yeah.
It's a safety issue also.
Yeah.
So,
but
anyways.
it's a thing that I don't think I don't know that I would have. Let me step back. It may have taken me longer to figure out that process had you not shortcutted it for me and showed me that perspective.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I've caught myself in that mindset where I'm like, this person's a train wreck. And I'll catch that now. I'll say, okay, they're a train wreck, but what are they good at? Like, that's my first thought. What are they good at?
Yeah.
It's got to be something. What are they good at? So I'll figure it out. And I'll push that.
I took a rookie who was a spaz. I mean, just a spaz. He's all over the place, getting complained on, just all over the place. And nobody wanted to be around him because he was too spazzy and, he didn't fit in.
Mm-hmm.
So I took him under my wing, and he would do anything you asked him to. He's a Marine, right?
Okay.
And I said, dude, here's a dope complaint. Go work that. And it was more like, hey, here's a problem. I'm giving it to you. Here's your resources. Take care of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I want you to do A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
Okay?
You gave him a mission and let him figure it out for himself.
And I said, here's the problem. Go do some surveillance. Come back and report. Come back and report and say, it looks like a good dope house. Okay? All right. Here's our undercover officer. Get with him. Run a CI up there so you can get some dope. He does. Okay? Now, okay, you got PC to write a warrant? Yeah. Okay, well, write a warrant. I don't know how to write a warrant. I said, okay, get with the undercover officer and learn. So undercover officer showed him how to do it. He wrote the warrant, took it to the judge, got it signed. And you know how much motivation that gave that rookie officer who nobody wanted to give a time of day?
Yeah.
Right?
Now he's getting warrants.
Yeah. So he wrote a warrant, his first warrant, and it was a big lick.
Nice.
I mean, there was a lot of dope there,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of money. And it wasn't just a lot of money. It was where they hid the money. It made it all interesting. They dug up the floor and hid it under a closet. And it was just interesting the way he found it.
Yeah.
And it was his first ever surveillance, search warrant, just mission.
Yeah.
And he killed it.
Nice.
And to this day, whenever I meet him, we bring that up, and he talks about how I gave him a chance, and I believed in him, and he made it up to lieutenant, and he quit early, a little bit early, and he's like, he went to TCU, got a master's in TCU.
You're talking about Span?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yep.
Yeah, Span's a good dude.
Yeah.
Is he own that pizza place?
I think he did. I think he
get rid of
sold
that?
out.
Okay.
He
Gave up his part.
maybe part, but I think last time I talked to him, he was getting out of it.
Okay. I wonder if he watches the show. Could get him on here.
Oh, dude. Entertaining.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay.
Entertaining.
I don't know him that at all.
Yeah.
But I know
and
of him.
Smarter than people thought he was.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that
he's a realtor.
I got a master's. That doesn't mean I'm smart.
He's a realtor now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Making that money?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Good guy.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy, though we don't hang out a lot, just in passing or Facebook messenger here or there.
Yeah.
But if I called him up, dude, I need ABC. He goes, I'm there.
Nice.
Or, dude, I need some money. How much? That's just the way he is.
Yeah. You would never ask for money.
No. I mean, I don't know if he's loaded or not. I mean, I'm assuming he's got some cash because of the type of job he has.
Mm-hmm.
And, his background. But he's got some stories.
Ask him if he wants to sponsor a podcast. But how are you liking these booms, by the way?
Oh, they're nice.
They are, I knew, okay, this is what Joe Rogan uses. And I knew that if he's going to use them, the products that that's how I even considered doing a podcast, was because of his show. But I knew if he used them, he believed in them. Because the dude doesn't rep stuff he thinks is shit.
Yeah.
And so when I had reached out and they decided to at least let me be an affiliate, I figured it was worth the money to put into it. And I got the same boom arms he has. Minus the only difference is he has a LED light on his that shows that it's on air. And that would have cost me like another $50 per.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't need that. And
I like the Howard Stern type stuff where they have the mic and it has a little cage
oh
over it.
Yeah, it's got the vibration thing, and then
I know you don't talk politics, but Rush Limbaugh used to have this golden mic.
Oh, really?
And it's an old retro looking mic.
Yeah.
And
well, these mics are $100, so they're $99 a piece. So that's why I got these ones.
So I realize it's 9:00. So
yeah, we've only been doing this an hour and a half.
I got to get out of here, but I wanted to tell you, we talked about this, a funny story.
We did?
Yeah, earlier. The little 5-minute.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let me preface before you get into this. The old man came up and he's like, it'd be cool on the show if you did like had a segment for funny stories, serious stories, cool stories, just perspectives from cops or firefighters.
From all over.
From all over. And listen, motherfuckers, I have said, send me a video of your 5-minute or less story. You can video it. You can just do audio, however you want to play it. You can send me pictures. I will incorporate it, and I will put it at the end of the segment because it would be cool for a podcast. You hear two people talking for, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long that goes. And then at the end, you get the levity of hearing a cool story. Because let's face it, whatever we just talked about may not be that interesting to people.
Well,
so
I have a good one.
So I want y'all to watch this show, and the email address is 2cops1donut@yahoo.com. It's all spelled out though. It's TWOCOPSONEDONUT.
Jesus.
I had to think of it. Yeah, I know. Everything's taken up. So if you get confused of like, why is some of it like the number 2 cops and then the number 1 donut? It's just because that was what was available. I wanted it to be the number 2 cops and the number 1 donut. That's what I wanted. So
right.
Most stuff is that. But if it isn't, I had to kind of tweak it. So anyway, send your stories to me. Funny, serious, sad. I don't care. And I will put it at the end of the show. And we can not use your name, use your department, not use your department, whatever it is. So anyway, he brought that up to me. And so we're going to in the show, apparently, because he's got a funny story to end this with. So here's the example.
Do it like this. This is a funny one.
Okay.
They all don't have to be funny. They could be heartwarming. Just a short little story that like is interesting.
Yeah.
This is a funny one.
And true.
And true. Get a call on the east side. My neighbors above me, and this is one of those apartment complexes that's maybe 8 apartments total, 4 on the bottom, 4 on the top. Well, the guy on the top, his water's running. It ain't shutting off. Door's open. And the water is overflowing and leaking into the bottom apartment. So we get called. Music playing. He won't answer the door. He won't come to the door, even though the door is open. So, all right. So we get there, right? Yeah, it's up there. Okay.
So his apartment door is open.
Right.
When you get there. Okay.
Knocking on the door, frame, door's open. Here's this guy passed out drunk on the couch. And you can see the kitchen is a straight shot. It's front door, living room, kitchen, right?
Okay.
You can see the kitchen water running, overflowing, and going to the guy's apartment below. And we're going, hey, wake up. We're at the door. We didn't want to go in. We just want to wake him up, shut your water off. We have no reason to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to because it wasn't a very nice place. Wake up. Could tell he was drunk. So he finally gets to his feet and his pants fall down.
Oh, classy.
Right.
Yeah.
And he has 2 what I call rat dogs with him.
Okay.
I don't know what they're called.
Little Yorkies or something.
Yeah, they're Yorkie because they're like the dogs next door to my house.
Okay.
Right. And they're just kind of, they don't know what's going on. They're kind of interested in us, but they're kind of not. Well, this guy is drunk and he's like, ugh, his pants fall down. And then he just takes a fucking dump right there in the living room in front of us. And it's...
Do you like squat to do it? Or
No.
do you just shit straight up standing?
Straight up. And it's diarrhea type, liquid nastiness. Gross as fuck.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? And I'm like, whoa! Right?
Yeah.
And me and my Marine partner, Mike McCormick, you need to get him on here.
Okay.
We're like, holy shit.
Literally.
Yeah. And then, so we're laughing and kind of,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, look, Mike, I'm just going to sneak in there, shut the water off, and we're out of here.
Yeah.
Right? So I take 3 steps in. I go, ugh! I cannot get farther than 3 fucking steps.
Because of smell?
That is nasty, right? Well, my buddy, Mike, who I have much dirt on, is got a stomach made of steel, cement. And so I can't do it. And then I said, let me try one more time. So I try again, and those 2 dogs decide, ooh, that diarrhea shit looks good.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm like, oh, God. Nasty. And you got to see this guy. He's short.
Shit.
He's fucking naked halfway down. He's got long hippie hair. He's got just nastiness everywhere. He's thrown up. He's shit everywhere. It's just the epitome of fucked up. Right? And so this guy is teetering back and forth, and my buddy Mike goes, I'll do it.
Oh, God.
He walks in there, and this guy is like, waving, leaning back and forth, and Mike gets right parallel with him, and it looks like this guy is going to fall on him with all this shit on his pants and everything. I go, Mike, look out.
Oh, Jesus.
And Mike does a ninja move and goes around him, shuts their water off, and we get out, shut the door, done.
Oh, man.
How do you write that up?
Assisted citizen with water malfunction in a wire.
Holy fuck.
That's awesome.
Oh, I can't make this shit up.
If I saw the dogs, I'd have lost it.
Yeah, I did. It's
I'd have lost it.
Why? Why are you eating this fucking diarrhea shit?
Oh, that's so nasty.
But
just as well, the warrant I just served. It's funny you say it. They had their water shut off. Go figure. They had shitter buckets in the backyard.
Do you step in one?
No, I did not. No, but when we went to the backyard, because I'm a property crimes guy, so I'm looking to see if there's any stolen items back there. It was the worst smelling backyard. I'm like, and I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, why does it stink so bad? And then the Narc guys, that was their house. It was their warrant. We were just there because we were told there was a bunch of stolen stuff as well, which there wasn't. And shitter buckets all over the place.
That reminds me of another story. This is real quick because I have a ton of them, but I want to say this one. Me and my buddy get a call midnight, right?
Yeah.
A disturbance, a domestic. Get to the house. It's one of those houses where roaches are all over the walls. You can't stay still because they'll crawl up your legs. You have to kind of move.
Yep.
They ask you to have a seat. You go, no,
no thanks.
So anyways, Grandma is babysitting the kids, which is common in the hood, right? And Grandma wants Mama, her granddaughter, to come home and watch her own fucking kids, right? So we get there. I don't even know why we were called. It's one of those, why are we called?
Why are we here? Yeah.
So Grandma goes, I'm fucking tired of watching your kids. All you do is go out there and hoe around all day, all night, all day, every day. I'm tired of it. These are your kids. I'm old. And that was the argument.
Yeah.
She goes, all you out there doing is hoeing around. And then she didn't miss a beat. The granddaughter turns around and goes, well, you're the one who taught me how to hoe. And I fucking lost it.
Oh my God.
I lost it.
She said that to her grandma?
Yeah, they were bitching at each other. And I go, well, I'm sorry, but this is not a police related call. I can't help you. I looked at my partner. We were laughing our ass off. We just left.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Nothing.
You're the one who taught me how to hoe.
Damn. And you make the argument that I try to tell people. I'm like, when I see an officer like irritated, I'm like, you're looking at it. It's just it's the shade you got on right now.
Right.
Turn it into an entertainment piece.
Well,
That's
was
what I do.
easy to be.
That was easy. Yeah.
Now the fighting over money for school clothes.
Yeah.
That pissed me off.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with that.
I understand, but if you maybe it's this, I don't know, maybe it's my X-Men ability.
X-Men.
Yeah. I turn everything into fun for myself.
Well, let me ask you this. What would you do on the he won't give me any money for clothes call?
What would I do?
How would you handle that call?
I don't know without actually being there and being in the moment. It's hard to say sitting back, but I don't know. I'm not sure how I would flip it to have fun, but I would try to see how far my turning their emotion into seeing the logic side would go.
Well,
it may go, it may not. It depends on how that goes. If it doesn't, then I got to change tactics.
Those two would be receptive or even be able to acknowledge.
The thing is, the husband wouldn't have been in that situation, wouldn't have been my target. It would have been the wife because that's the complainant. She's the one that wants the money. She's the one that's having the issues. So I would have went towards her. She would have been my target in who I would have tried to flip.
I would flip her this way. Okay. Just chill out. Act like nothing's happening. When he goes to sleep,
get that money.
Get that money.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, listen, everybody knows you run this house. I know you run this house. He knows you run this house. This is the only control that he has over you.
Oh, you're going that route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let him think he's got that control. You know he doesn't have that control. Quit asking. Don't tell him. Do what you got to do.
Or when he comes for some love and you say it's going to cost you.
Yeah. I'm like, listen, you need the money. There's things he needs.
School clothes.
Yeah. Just run it that way and just have fun with it. It may solve their problems. It may not, but I give them an option. There's no police enforcement there that I need to do. and then I bounce. And let's see if it works. It works.
Well,
so
get Dave Sullivan in here.
Oh, Big Dave, yeah. I need to get Dave.
It'd be fun.
The problem is there's so many people that I keep getting told I need to have. Kiesler's another one. Oh, Jesus, no.
Yeah.
He needs to retire before I get him on here.
Now, I talked to him quite a bit, and he'll be able to give you enough, clean enough.
Clean enough. That's what I want.
And
he's every other word's a cuss word.
And yeah, he'll keep it in control.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's the direction that I'm trying to take. So I got my military time coming up real fast. August 16th. So it's July 23rd right now. So it's right around the corner. I got Winky Hicks coming on in 2 days. I just did Paul's episode, got it all ready to post. I'm posting the episodes on every Thursday. That's what I've decided. So I'm ahead of schedule.
Have you had a Hispanic female on here yet?
If I do, the first one I'm going to have is Angie Mapes, if possible, or Erin Dondo. I promised her that
Crystal Reyna.
Oh, I didn't even think about Crystal. Yeah, that's a dominating personality.
I'm afraid of Angie because she knows me too well. She has too much dirt on me.
I love Angie. I would love for her to be on here.
I just posted a video on Facebook. We used to ride together a lot because I'd be bored out of my mind. Angie, take me around.
Yeah.
And we go talk shit and go eat. And we were eating at, what's that? Jason's Deli.
Mm-hmm.
And they would sell these big ass chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, when you sat in the cookie.
So I was eating that cookie and it fell down in my lap and it just melted. It got all over my ass and it looked like I shit my pants. And she fucking filmed it while I was cleaning my
Hey, you didn't know. That's the best. I know. So Angie, for those listening, Angie, I have a hierarchy of officers who's like, if I wanted to have my back.
Yeah.
And Angie and Brandy are in my top 10 and they're side by side.
Yeah.
Side by side. Because Angie pinned the dude against the wall that was moving towards me in a way she didn't like one time. And it was awesome. So, yeah, she don't play.
She just lives down the road.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
She don't tell anybody.
No shit.
I said, bitch, you live that close?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need it. Well, all three of us.
You know where our financial guy is at?
Yeah. Right over there?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. We need to, dude, all three of us on here? That'd be a good time.
Oh, shit. It'd be a 4-hour show.
I don't give a shit. We've only been going an hour and 45 minutes.
I gotta go.
You ain't got nothing to do. You're retired. So,
dude.
But, all right. Well, man, let me cue that outro music and later. Good shit.